It's a Sunday, but no Jets game. Sort of weird. We're not going to be as invested, and our day being ruined or lifted. So instead, we're going to talk draft. Look ahead to 2026. Look ahead to 2027. All of that jazz. A special edition of Boy Green Daily starts now.
I'm going to lose my gosh-darn bananas. Boy Green Daily starts now. Zoinks!
Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. Let's go!
Put your seatbelts on. Get ready for the ride. We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm Paul Essendon Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. Welcome to Boy Green Daily, a daily New York Jets video show, also available wherever you get your podcast. I am Paul Essendon Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. Feel free to call me that here on the program. Welcome in. Make sure you guys like the video, hit subscribe. We have a special guest. Again, no game day today, but we're going to be talking draft. Before we do, a quick shout out. I see Mother Effing Chew gifted a Boy Green Coffee Club membership to kick us off. Beautiful. This membership went to Joe Willie Namath. Can you still throw the ball, Joe? We could use you out there. So welcome to the Boy Green Coffee Club. That's a great start. MFC, congratulations. You're sixth in our contest. We have the sixth most raffle tickets of anyone this month. More on that in just a little bit. But let's welcome in our special guest here on a Sunday. He is our NFL draft guru. He has been given that title, and he will have that written on his gravestone when he's dead. But hopefully no time soon. Let's welcome in Drew Beatty.
What's up, Paul? How we doing?
Hey, look, I like the gear. I like the fit. You look ready for some football action today, Drew.
Absolutely. Got to get the Titans pregame stuff going early.
Okay, very nice. So before we get, I appreciate you carving out the time on a Sunday with all
absolutely.
that going on. Now, again, the theme of today's show is there's a chance that the Jets don't go quarterback in 2026. They have 5 first-round picks over the next 2 years. So there's a chance that they could just go BPA, plenty of holes. It's not going to take long to point at some different positions that they may want to look to fill outside of quarterback. Before we get there, the only thing I wanted to ask about from yesterday's quarterback action, then we'll go completely non-quarterback the rest of the way outside of any super chat questions or anything that comes in. Did anything change in your mind on your quarterback evaluations from what you saw from John Mateer and Ty Simpson in that Oklahoma-Alabama game that you want to share?
I wouldn't say anything drastically changed. Since the last time I was on here, there's been a couple of radical changes between the Jets have made some personnel changes, and then the quarterback class has started to shape up a little bit since I've gotten on here. I think Ty Simpson, that was pretty clearly one of his worst games of the season yesterday. But again, I still thought there were some good throws, and if that's his worst, I'm okay with that. I think some people are going to be lower on him because of that game. I think he strung together, a couple of good weeks before this where Mendoza had kind of, gone a little bit back and forth. I thought Mendoza was pretty good again yesterday. So overall, I thought they've kind of both further solidified themselves as top 10 guys. And Dante Moore has continued to impress me from Oregon too over the past couple weeks. He's strung together a lot of really good games, but there was a report that came out from, I believe, Dane Brugler over the past week or since I've been on here, however long that's been, that it's all but confirmed he's going to be a 2027 guy. It's pretty much, confirmed he's going to go back to Oregon this year. So I would be shocked if at this point, if Dante Moore was a part of this quarterback class. So it would seem like it's going to be down back to Ty Simpson and Fernando Mendoza.
Okay, there you have it. Folks, again, I have a lot of questions. You're going to see the player. I'm going to put it on the screen that we're talking about here. We'll talk about each player in its own pocket. But if you have questions for Drew Beatty while he's here on the show, we'll be on for an hour today in total from pillar to post for today's program. Feel free to super chat those players in or prospects in, or if you have any questions, and we'll get to those. Without further ado, let's start off at the top of the board here. This is a guy that's creating a lot of buzz. Arvell Reese, the linebacker out of Ohio State. What can you tell me about this guy, Drew?
Yeah, so Arvell Reese is not a guy that we heard a lot about coming into the year because he didn't play for Ohio State last year, so he really didn't have any tape to judge him off of coming into the year. But, the rise has been astronomical from the beginning of this year. I mean, he is outstanding. He's currently my number one overall player on my draft board. Now, a lot of people, like teams, especially now, like when you post the mock drafts or whatever, and you have Arvell Reese, they have him listed as a linebacker, and every team in the top 5 is thinking, if we take a linebacker in the top 5, I'm not a fan anymore. So, and I understand that positional value is the thing, but you got to watch Arvell Reese. He's not a linebacker.
That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah, he is kind of in that Jalon Walker role from last year that we talked about, or Jalen Walker. I always mispronounce that. Where he was kind of in that hybrid, edge, a split time between edge and inside linebacker, playing a little bit off ball, a little bit on ball. But Arvell Reese, I think he's playing something like a 60-40 split for Ohio State right now between the two positions. I have him graded that high as a conversion to a full-time edge. So I don't really want him playing off-ball linebacker. I think that he is the most dominant when he's on the line of scrimmage. And I tweeted kind of a brief thesis about this too, where there's an argument here for like a lot of people want to keep the versatility, right? You make it harder for offenses to plan between him, switching between linebacker and edge. But to me, I think you're kind of wasting reps in the pursuit of versatility when you're wasting a dominant edge rusher every time you don't have this guy on the line of scrimmage. I mean, he is a game-changing player at the line of scrimmage. He's probably pound for pound the strongest player I've ever watched. He's only like 242 pounds or whatever is what we have him listed at right now. I mean, you see this guy throw around 320-pound tackles on a weekly basis. I mean, like they're not even there. I mean, he ragdolls every tight end and running back that's asked to block him for some reason. Mm-hmm. He's got crazy bend for a guy that's as powerful as he is. You're looking at, again, he's going to be a ceiling guy. I know some people hate that term, but he's already, like, you can watch the tape. He's not a projection guy. He's already really good. It's just he can be better because he hasn't played full-time edge yet. I mean, you can look at what Jalen Walker's done for Atlanta this year, switching to full-time edge. You can look at what happened with Abdul Carter from Penn State a couple years ago, where he was kind of in that hybrid role in his junior year, and then came in his senior year and was dominant as a full-time edge rusher. So I think when you have a game-changing player like this, you have to put them at the most valuable position all the time to me. And I think Arvell Reese, I mean, the sky's the limit for this guy as an edge rusher. He's got the entire package. Great run defender, incredibly bendy, most powerful player I've watched in this draft class. He's the total package as a defensive line. Coming off the edge, I'd probably play him like 5-7 tech, somewhere in that range. And if you want to sprinkle in some linebacker packages here and there, I think that's totally fine too. To switch with versatility, but I think he should be a full-time edge at the NFL, and I think he would be a dominant one.
Yeah, it reminds me of Micah a couple of years ago, Micah Parsons, speaking of Penn State guys, that like every time he was a rusher in the pass, I'm like, oh my God, what a waste. Right? If that's your God-given ability, do it every bleeping play. I know everyone wants to get cute with chess pieces here and there. So yeah, rush the gosh darn pass.
Yeah, I think you're trying to fool an offensive coordinator, but in reality, I think every time he's not on the line of scrimmage, the offensive coordinator is just wiping sweat off his brow because you're getting a play off. Your offensive tackle's not getting blown up every time he's not on the line of scrimmage. So, I mean, I think he's an okay linebacker, kind of the same way I felt about Jalen Walker last year, where I think he's a pretty good linebacker, probably like a top 50 guy-ish, but he's a top 5 pick at edge.
Okay, there you go. Which, again, could be a direction for the Jets because they need both edge and defensive tackle, which, again, we'll get into both of those here on the program. Let's get to this guy. We'll jump in line and keep it in the pass rusher. I see Mahar Khalil is sending in a super chat, baby. That's what I'm talking about. This is exactly the way to do it if you want Drew Beatty to talk about whatever prospect you desire.
Wow.
Thank you, Mahar Khalil. We'll add that to your total. What about Ruben Bain Jr., pass rusher, Miami?
Yeah, that's a good shout. I imagine he was next up on the graphic list because he is number 2 on my draft board. Probably the other best pass rusher in this draft class. He was a guy that came in, number 1 for me on the season on my preseason board. He was number 1 over the first couple weeks for a lot of guys because he started the season off red hot. I mean, he was unblockable for the first probably 6 or 7 weeks. He still played very well since then. He's just cooled off. You're not really going to keep that pace. But he's another guy that's playing. He's more the bigger, defensive lineman, probably in that more 5-3 tech range. Kind of, it's going to float between the big gap and the interior as a pass rusher. But he's another great run defender, incredibly strong. Another really powerful pass rusher. Has some Jared Verse in his game to me. Not quite as explosive, but still, he's kind of a bigger body, extremely powerful hands, relentless motor. Just a really, really powerful, bigger down edge rusher. And I think that he struggled with some injuries. That's one concern with him. I'm not sure that there's anything lingering. We're still kind of getting some different reports there. But there is probably some medical red flags there that you don't have with Arvell Reese. But he's also probably more of a finished product as an edge rusher. So there's some give and take there. I think they're both, Arvell Reese has edged him out for me right now. but they're both very, very close. They both graded out. I mean, I think they're both worthy of number 1 overall picks in this draft class.
All right, that was going to be my question because sometimes when we see a draft board, right, you literally have to go numerical 1, 2, 3, 4,
Right.
5. So I mean, the gap is literally 1 to 2 in reference to your specific board. But how big is that gap from literally Arvell Reese to Ruben Bain, and why you happen to have Arvell higher than Ruben?
Yeah, so Arvell Reese, you can put my grades technically in the numerical stuff if you want to. He's probably like 0.3 or 0.4 ahead of him on that scale. Okay. So it's probably the difference between, like, if you wanted to grade it by specific top 10 picks, because they're both top 10 grades, I'd probably say Arvell Reese is like, I'd draft him at 5 versus Bain. I'd draft him at like 7 or 8. So, a couple, if that's the best way I can lay it out, because I kind of group when you get high in the first round, my grades go number 1 overall, top 5 or top 10, and they're both top 10 right now. So
is your grade getting in the weeds here, is that significant decimal point difference when you're talking about prospects, or it is as whatever you want to say, that it's decimal points? It's literally
right, yeah. I mean, it comes down to really just like tiebreaker stuff. It's just like what you want in different edge rushers. But again, I think that they're very much in the same tier of players. I think it's just kind of the ceiling that you have with Arvell Reese versus, not to say Bain doesn't have room to grow. It's just that Arvell Reese is still, not even playing full-time edge yet. That kind of gets in that a little bit for me.
Mahar Khalil, that adds with your previous Super Chat combinations. That is a Super Chat coming in here, so much appreciated here on the program. This is a guy I didn't have on my list, not because I don't love him, but let's just get him up here. My pop is throwing Jeremiah Love. We are about to see this man in person. Me and my dad are going to South Bend for the first time in our lives as Notre Dame hosts Syracuse next week, so I can't wait to check that off both of our bucket lists. And man, Jeremiah Love, what a freak. I mean, I'll let you talk about him here, but my pop jumps in. Jeremiah Love will be the first New York Jet to rush for 1,000 yards since Chris Ivory a decade ago. Yeah, that was in 2015, so appreciate that. Although Breece Hall is on pace for 1,200 yards this season, so he appears to be the next guy to knock off that trap. But what do you make of Jeremiah Love as a prospect? Where does he go? Again, he always gets beat up. He or the general position gets beat up because they're running backs.
Right, and that's going to be the same deal again this year. Where Jeremiah Love's top 10 guy on my board. I mean, he's a first-round running back. Like, he's outstanding. He's approaching Genty level prospect for me right now if he continues the pace he's on. I'm not sure he'll quite get there because he doesn't have the frame and the strength that Genty has. But, I mean, he's like, you're approaching Saquon Barkley levels of athleticism at the running back position to me with Jeremiah Love. I mean, he's just a freak, one-of-one athlete. Great vision, helps in the pass game, is a very good receiver. Solid enough as a blocker to keep out there as a third down back. Got the contact balance, even if he's a smaller back, I think he's still like 200 pounds, but not like the 225-pound Genty we saw last year.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's just the positional value conversation. And I think the Raiders have only worsened that discussion at this point. Where, like, yes, Ashton Genty was an awesome player. Yes, grade-wise on my board, I had him in range for the Raiders to take him there. But it's just like, if you are building a team from the ground up, like the Raiders, the Titans, the Jets, you are just not teams that can afford to spend a first-round pick on a running back. There is too much value in later rounds. There's too much value in free agency. For the Jets, I mean, hell, you're still in a position to transition tag or franchise tag Breece Hall and hold on for another year if you want a stopgap running back to help whatever quarterback you take, whether that's 26 or 27. So I think, again, not a knock on Jeremiah Love by any means. He's outstanding. I mean, it's must-watch TV every single week with him. Like, it's a given he's going to break a 60-yard touchdown every single week and rush for at least 150. I mean, he's a dynamic game changer, top 10 player on my board. It's just that running backs are never going to be able to beat the fact that they have to be the last piece in building a team.
Yeah, it feels that way. And also, I don't get to, it's when the Jets are spending free agency money, it's not my money. When the Jets are investing top 5 picks, it's not my draft picks. So, like, I love it, in my head. I like, we think of different scenarios throughout the entire offseason. I was doing it last year with Genty. I just sort of convinced myself if they were going to move up Breece Hall, let's make a reckless decision. Like when your parents leave the house, you're like, you know what? Let's make some bad decisions tonight, boys. And that's what it feels like. But so, Pop, I love Jeremiah Love to death, pun intended, but I don't know if that's going to be the direction, unfortunately. Keep your super chats coming, everybody, and I'll continue to get different ones here on the program. All right, let's keep it on defense. Now that Quentin Williams is gone since the last time he joined us here, Drew Beatty on the show, so they've got a massive void in the middle of their defense at defensive tackle. What about Peter Woods out of Clemson?
Yeah, so Peter Woods, another guy that a lot of people came into the year with number 1 on their preseason big boards. And I understand why. Like his tape last year was dominant. It was just consistent week in week out. Another unblockable interior guy who looked like just a bona fide number 1 overall pick. Again, there were some injury issues that popped up, but overall, it didn't seem like anything lingering. Like he was just kind of going to be the guy that was guaranteed to be the number 1 overall pick over the past 2 years. But this year has been extremely concerning for me with Peter Woods. I think that, again, you still saw a lot of the juice the first couple of weeks. And I don't ever want to speculate on this kind of stuff with guys, but it's just hard. It's kind of almost undeniable when you see it on tape, like just progressively getting worse the way that you have. It seems like as Clemson's season hopes have kind of dwindled week by week, where they lose, the Georgia Tech game early on, and they lose the LSU game, and all these games that they, we're not supposed to lose. When you saw kind of the point, I forget what it might have been, the Georgia Tech game itself, they kind of put the nail in the coffin for Clemson's season early on. Since then, you've just kind of really seen him quit on film. Like the effort and the level of play in general has just had a steep decline. And you've heard some reports from guys that know, just saying like Peter Woods, when he's invested, number 1 overall pick. But Peter Woods, when he's not, it's kind of a guy you have to work pretty hard on to keep dedicated. And I'm not sure that's a guy. I only grade on film because I don't have good enough information. I don't meet these guys. I can't know their personalities and stuff. So I try not to let that stuff influence my grades. But when it reflects on film, it's kind of hard not to. So that's kind of it's backing me up him. And again, I've mentioned this before on the show where one of my biggest philosophies as an evaluator is the most recent tape is the most important. Like they have to be on the rise going into the draft. I don't want a guy like if a guy is really good his junior season and kind of has a worse season his senior season, that's going to ding him a lot for me because I want a guy on an upward trajectory going into the draft. And Peter Woods has probably been on the complete opposite of that since he started. Like his earliest tape at Clemson and in his college career was better. And every year it's gone on, he's probably gotten worse and worse. So that concerns me a little bit. But even with the effort struggles and then what he's looked like this season, I think he's still probably a fringe first round pick tape wise. But he's going to go pretty high in this class. He's going to be the first defensive tackle taken in the class. So I think if the Jets, this is probably more of a trade back, I would say. Like he's probably going to be a top 10 pick, but I'm not sure he'd be in the range the Jets are picking. So if they want to trade back and try to replace whatever production they're going to lose from Quentin Williams, he's probably the guy on the radar as the first defensive tackle off the board, but not a guy I'm looking at in the top 3-ish range right now.
Well, your philosophy makes a lot of sense. You want to see it the best, most recent, the upward trajectory heading into the draft. I've heard Aaron Glenn say this before. I'm just curious your reaction if you have any to it. He has said this before about watching players on tape. If he has seen it at any point in their history, again, this doesn't necessarily just have to be draft prospects. It could be NFL players too. He says, I know in my head that they have it in there, and now it's on me to get it out of them. What do you think of that?
I think I appreciate that lens from a coach. I think that's the right way for a coach to look at it. But I think if you just look at purely the history, I think it's ultimately it ends up being like just the track record is not very good for guys that end up, whether it's effort concerns or whether it's just, a clear kind of the opposite of just a clear regression, like in Peter Wood's case. Mm-hmm. I just think the track record is not, there for me to take that shot, but I can appreciate that lens from a coach because I think that's their job. And I think that's the right way to look at it from their lens. But as an evaluator, I think that the history kind of speaks for itself there.
All right, let's stay on defense. Let's get another one in here. Apparently, I could just put the entire Ohio State roster in here, for God's sake.
Pretty much this year.
Caleb Downs, safety. I know how Jet fans feel about safety at the Jamal Adams experience, but, and with AG's love for safeties in Detroit, I feel like this is something to keep an eye out for. Again, maybe to your point, it might be a trade down scenario. I don't know. We haven't heard your analysis yet on Caleb Downs, but this feels like one to watch. Yeah,
Caleb Downs is the guy is another one, kind of like the Jeremiah Love conversation. It's very similar, where this is a guy that we've known since his freshman year in Alabama was going to be, a blue chip prospect at the position. And like he has been outstanding since the minute he stepped on the field right out of high school. It's just going to be the positional value conversation because safeties are very much in the same bracket as running backs right now when it comes to positional value. It's like, hey, this guy's really good, but we can't afford to take a safety right now. And again, like the Jets obviously have a need at the position. Aaron Glenn, secondary guy, that's going to be higher on his radar. And on the Caleb Downs, I'm not sure that I really quite buy the whole generational prospect thing that's getting thrown around. I think he's really good. I wouldn't call him generational. But I think as good as that Ohio State defense is, this guy is like the glue guy of all glue guys. Caleb Downs covers up so many problems in that second. He's like like the most blue collar safety ever. Like he's just there to do the dirty work. He covers up everybody else's mistakes. I mean, just a complete Band-Aid guy for your secondary. Like he will hide so many mistakes on the back end. He's versatile enough where like you could play him on the boundary at corner if you wanted to. He's playing a lot of press man in the slot for Ohio State, which is just kind of crazy for a safety to have that range of versatility. He's a box safety. He's a bigger body, incredible athlete. He's willing to get down there and defend the run. Good tackler. It just fills his gaps well. I mean, there's not a facet of safety play that he's not great at. I mean, he's an overall great safety prospect, best in recent years. It's just down to the fact that can you afford to take safety in the top 10? And again, I think it's kind of the same discussion where if you're in trade back, kind of back end of the top 10 for the Jets, I probably like that fit a lot. But I just don't think you can afford to take safety top 3, top 5 anymore in the current NFL world.
Do you believe he goes top 10, Caleb Downs?
I would probably guess the back end of top 10. I think if with the rate Washington is on, and I don't want to, obviously it's November, I don't speculate on what teams, but I think the fit to Washington right now is kind of a dream for them because they are clearly on the trajectory to get a top 10 pick. The injury's been terrible for them this year. And they need this kind of Band-Aid guy. Like their secondary is bad. And he just covers up so many problems on the back end. That I think if you have to build a secondary from the ground up like they do, this is the guy to start it off with. So I'd be surprised if he slips into the teens, but I also don't think he goes like top 5.
Again, we got 200 people in the room. Make sure you guys like the video, hit subscribe here on YouTube. That's a free way to contribute to the show. Of those 200 people in the room, 100 of those are on YouTube. So again, like the video, hit subscribe. Also, we're doing a giveaway, baby. We'll give Drew an opportunity to catch his breath. Look at this, baby. It's a beautiful Marty Lyons jersey, an autographed Marty Lyons jersey. From his speaking of all this college football today, he is a college football Hall of Famer. That's his Alabama jersey, signed off to the Boy Green Coffee Club. Stitched on the bottom of the jersey are all of his accomplishments, both at the NFL and college football level. If you want a chance to win this jersey, all you have to do is spend $3 on the channel. That's a money sign on YouTube. You can send in your super chats for Drew or buy Boy Green Coffee Club memberships or YouTube memberships. Also, shout out to one of our fans on the channel. Not only are we giving away this jersey on December 1st, but here it is, an accompanying Marty Lyons autographed hat. We're adding this to the pile, so shout out to Carl, who sent this in, which is absolutely beautiful, so appreciate you, Carl. So we have an autographed hat and autographed jersey, baby, which is absolutely terrific, so we very much appreciate that. Again, we have our draft guru extraordinaire, Drew Beatty, here on the program, baby. He is one of the best in the business, and I'm glad that we discovered him. He's the best draft find we've found ever. Whether it's the Jets or me, I mean, he's just a terrific gem here. That's for dang sure. So I'm
ready for the mock draft Mondays.
Oh, there we go. Well, those are coming.
Yeah,
for sure.
Unfortunately.
And yeah, with all of our picks, we're gonna have so many different combinations. Hey, let's do a quarterback draft. Hey, let's do a non-quarterback draft. So a lot of those are coming up here on the program. And so far, we've talked a lot about defense for the New York Jets. And boy, after trading away Sauce Gardner, Quentin Williams, it sort of makes sense to have some of those conversations. But a lot of people are talking about offense. So let me throw a wide receiver here on the board, Jordan Tyson. We've got Garrett Wilson, but we're in a desperate search to find the Robin to his Batman. Does Jordan Tyson fit that flavor, the wide receiver pass catcher out of Arizona State, Drew Beatty?
Yeah, so Jordan Tyson is another guy that came in as like kind of consensus top 3 pick. Like everybody has had him penciled in as the wide receiver 1 for almost all of this year. And I don't want to come across like I'm low on him as a player at all, because I'm not. I still think he's a first round guy. I'd probably put him more in the late first round conversation than I would mid first round, mid to late first round guy than I would the range that most people are talking to him about for him right now. Excuse me. But I think that there's just some athletic limitations there that I don't love. I'm not sure he really handles physicality at the level that I would want for a guy you're going to take at the top. I think he gets off the line of scrimmage fine, but during his stems and at the catch point, I just don't think he really handles contact the way I want a top 5, top 10 pick at receiver too. He's had some drop issues. Now, given they got better from last year to this year, but they're still there, kind of hanging on. Those are fixable, but still something you don't really love to take a chance on. But he's a very, very smart player, natural separator. There's some, when you say a comp this lofty, I don't mean he's going to be this level player. It's just stylistic. But there's some Justin Jefferson in the way he moves. Very, very similar route runners. Not the level of prospect that Jefferson was by any means, but stylistically and body style, they're very similar.
Right. Drew says Jordan Tyson is next Justin Jefferson.
Exactly.
Clip it, people in the back. Clip it.
That's the soundbite you take away. But yeah, I think I think he's a first round receiver. I think he's a very good player, natural separator. I think the athletic limitations and the physicality concerns are enough to knock him out of that top 10 conversation for me.
Okay.
But there's another guy I assume we're going to talk about here later that's kind of skyrocketed this season and turned to my wide receiver 1 and is a guy that I probably would consider in the range the Jets are looking.
All right. Yeah, I think I know the right factory we're going to, and this is a factory we've already visited on the show so far. So Carnell Tate, the wide receiver at Ohio State. Garrett Wilson's an Ohio State guy. Jet fans are desperately like, oh, can we trade for Chris Olave? Can we trade for Jamison Williams? All these other former Ohio State guys. Why not just draft one? Grab the fruit ripe off the tree. Carnell Tate, perhaps here.
Yeah, I mean, it's really become laughable at this point where it's kind of like the Iowa tight ends where it's just every single year the wide receiver 1 is from Ohio State. I mean, it's unbelievable, the factory, like you mentioned, that they're just pumping out wide receiver 1s like it's nothing. But yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people are going to kind of, I mean, I don't know, I'm not intimately familiar with the Jets fan base, but if it were, my experience with my fan base in this position, I understand why a lot of people would be hesitant to get receiver this high when you already have Garrett Wilson and then you have a lot of other needs. But if you are, if there's even an inkling of you wanting to kind of kick the can down the road and solve QB in 2027, I mean, if you can bring a quarterback in 2027, a rookie quarterback with Carnell Tate, Garrett Wilson, and the offensive line the Jets have set up in front of him, I mean, you're like rookie quarterbacks nowadays. I mean, that is like they're salivating at that. That is the best possible rookie landing spot that anybody could ask for. Carnell Tate is probably the most improved player I've watched in this draft class from last year to this year. I mean, it's just been, the ascent has been crazy. But he's like 6'3", 200 pounds, incredible fluid mover for that size. Hands catcher. He plays with a lot of length. He's, turned into a really high-end separator. Great at the catch point. I mean, the body control at 6'3" is unbelievable. The way they got contort and still, keep control of his body. The spatial awareness for where he is, like he's able to adjust in the air at the catch point. I mean, he plays with every bit of that 6'3", 200-pound physicality at the catch point. But he's really graceful for a guy that size. When you watch on tape, and I think he's he's currently number 3 or 4 on my board right now. Overall top 10 pick for me. I think he's going to be really, really good. He's a wide receiver 1 caliber guy. And I mean, he's in consideration for anybody in the top 3 to 5 for me. So I think if you're going to go receiver and pair them with Garrett Wilson to set up for a quarterback next year, which I think is a really, really good option if you don't like the 2026 quarterbacks, I would be taking a long, long look at Carnell Tate.
Let me ask you a quick follow-up on these Ohio State receivers. We have like different levels. We have like Garrett Wilsons, Marvin Harrison Jr.'s. The fact that they have so many that we can now break them down into fun categories of this, that, or the other, like that, the first world problem, go Buckeyes. My question is Carnell Tate in that upper, and again, this is an impossible thing to compare him to, but like, is he in the absolute elite of the elite? Chris Carter's, all those guys coming out of Ohio State, or is he a level below that?
I mean, I think you could look at it through a couple of different lenses. Like as a college football player, and again, he was out last night with a calf injury, so obviously the numbers are going to get hurt with him missing some time this year. But with the pace he was on and the pace he was clearly showing, I think as a college player, like if you look back at his legacy of Ohio State receivers in college, he was clearly in that top echelon, or at least on that pace to be. Yeah. As a prospect, like I said, I wouldn't call him like he's not a Jeremiah Smith level prospect. He's not a Marvin Harrison Jr. level prospect. I still think he's a good top 10 first round pick, caliber receiver. But I wouldn't call him like a bona fide, immediate wide receiver 1, top 5 pick kind of guy. But definitely my wide receiver 1 in this class and a guy I'd look at in the top 5 of this class specifically.
All right. I want to throw another wide receiver out here. This is not on any list. I tried to get some names from you before because I make graphics and stuff for the show. So I wanted to sort of get a sense of some of the players you're going to be talking about. But I also pulled up like Mel Kiper's big board. So sort of sifting through that to see other names, non-quarterback, because that's today's show, by the way, folks, is that we're looking at the option because that could be a very legitimate path the Jets choose to go down. Is no quarterback, at least in the first round, which would open up all kinds of other possibilities for them to fill. What do you think about a USC young man, Mekhi Lemon, wide receiver?
Another very interesting receiver. He's another guy that I've got kind of interchangeably at 2 to 3 with Jordan Tyson. I kind of look at them in the same tier right now. That's probably the clearest consensus of anything that we've had in this draft class yet is who the top 3 receivers are. Like, it's been Cornell Tate, Mekhi Lemon, and Jordan Tyson all year. Those are clearly the 3 like round 1 guys, and it's just been no contest for them. Nobody's really pushed them for that top 3 spot. Mm-hmm. But Mekhi Lemon, he's really fun. He is on the smaller side. He looks, I don't know what they have him listed at, but on tape he looks like probably more like, right around 6 feet, kind of 5'11", that shorter range.
Yeah, they have him at 5'11", 195 on ESPN.
Okay, that's about, I'd say like 5'10" or 5'11" is what he looks like on film. So he's smaller, not going to be the 6'3" kind of vertical threat that Cornell Tate is. But I mean, if compact has ever been used to describe a guy at receiver, it's Mekhi Lemon. I mean, he is dynamite from that tiny frame. Like, this dude is he will go up and body anybody at the catch point. Like, you see him routinely work knife through double brackets at the catch point every single week. Just knows how to use every bit of his frame to box out guys, even at that small of a size. He's just a guy that lives in jump balls, but he's also a good separator. Like, he's a guy that is one of the better separators in this class. He's developed a lot there. He's a good athlete. One of the best after the catch. He's probably the best guy after the catch out of this top 3 group that we've talked about so far. He's really, really fun. I like him a lot. He's another guy that's kind of been on just a massive rise from last year. Like, he's only gotten better every week this year. So again, he's another guy that I like. He's probably going to end up as my 2 if things continue on the same pace. Like I said, I don't want to give concrete stuff yet because there's still a lot of football left to play. But if I had to rank them right now, it's definitely Tate, Lemon, then Tyson. So I think Mekhi Lemon, again, more of a guy you're taking in the fringe top 10, top 15, top 20 range than you are looking at in the top 5, top 10, if you're, in my opinion. But another really, really good, solid first-round receiver prospect.
All right, more prospects to come. All right, I'll have more questions in my back pocket, but what we'll do next is, again, we're only going to be on till 8:30 because our guy Drew here is getting some NFL football action today. Hopefully it goes better than it did for us on Thursday Night Football earlier this week. And also, I'd be rooting for you so you can rise up or rise down the draft order, whatever that works. That would be terrific. So you guys are
likewise. We can just root for each other to win all year.
Yeah. See, there you go. Like, aggressively. Like, yeah, I really hope you win on Sunday, Drew. No. I hope you win, Paul. And it's just this weird back and forth of neither of us are making the playoffs. So that'd be magical. That'd be absolutely magical. So, folks, if you have questions, now is the time to do so. We're about to open up the phone lines here on the program. We'll play a quick half timeout, and then your phone calls next as we talk more draft here on a Sunday edition of Boy Green Daily.
1, 2, 3. Whoa! Boy Green daily, Boy Green daily, Boy Green daily. Talking Jets football, man. All right. Boy Green daily, Boy Green daily, Boy Green daily. The New York Jets football club. Offense, defense, special teams, watch Jets football with Boy Green. Everyone, J-E-T-S, Jets. Boy Green daily, Boy Green daily, Boy Green daily. Talking Jets football, man. All right. Boy Green daily, Boy Green daily, Boy Green daily. Offense, defense, special teams, watch Jets football with Boy Green. J-E-T-S, Jets. Let's go!
The Hepster, baby. We're going to have to, one of these days, invite Drew to one of these tailgates that we're now doing every year, which should be
absolutely
terrific. We'll make that happen so the community can meet Drew, which would be awesome. Want to thank everybody for tuning in so far. We've got nearly 300 people in the room. Like the video, hit subscribe here on YouTube. That's a free way to contribute. The phone lines are open. That's youtube.com/boygreen25. Do you have draft prospect questions? Take advantage here with Drew. He's going to be with us for another 20 plus minutes here on the program. So we'll try to take as many of your calls as possible on your questions that you guys have coming in here. We love having Drew on, and he will be back again, of course, for the upcoming draft season. We'll finalize that once the Jets are mathematically eliminated from the playoffs, which could be possible, or so I've heard. So we'll do that as well. Before we get there, I see a super chat is just squeaking in here ahead of the phone line. Say, skip the queue, baby. So a quick shout out here to my daughter, Zariah Luna.
Wow.
Jared B. He's our moderator and resident mechanic, apparently, based on that emoji here on the channel, which we appreciate. What are the strongest positions in this draft, Drew Beatty?
I would probably say, as far as depth goes, which is typically where my mind goes, I assume that's what that meant by strongest position. Probably receiver is what I would say. It's a really, really deep receiver class, which I think you're going to when you have as many picks as the Jets do, they're going to take a shot on somebody as a wide receiver too for Garrett Wilson. Like that's with them shipping off or with them acquiring Adonai Mitchell too. Like he's a guy that I was like first round high on when he came out. Adonai Mitchell was a guy that I loved. I still think he's one of the best separators in the league. Just a guy who can, fix some of the mental issues there. Like he's a guy, if you could string together a receiver class or a receiver group of Garrett Wilson, a guy in the top 50 of this class, and AD Mitchell for a rookie quarterback, like that's really, really solid landing spot. But yeah, I'd probably say receiver edges out edge a little bit. But edge is also still a very deep thing. So I think that's two very, very solid positions for the Jets, where you're going to find guys in later rounds that are really, really good value at those spots, because I would say it's a weaker class overall. Like I don't love this class. I haven't watched a ton yet, but overarching everybody I've watched so far, I just don't think the talent level is all that high. But those two positions are deeper than everything else that I've seen.
Okay, so I don't know, based on what you just said, if you have an answer to this, but I'll still throw it out there, because the other part of the strongest position is, again, I would also interpret that as depth. Like, oh man, what are the positions that are just deep? But what about the shallow kiddie pool? Is there positions here where you better get it while the getting's good, because there's going to be a massive drop off from guy 1, 2, 3 to guy 7, 8, 9?
Yeah, I think probably the one that jump out first at that is like tight end is razor thin in this class. The tight end class is not thick at all. Corner is another one that's probably dwindling a little bit to me. And running back, probably those three are around the same, of just kind of running back's a little bit different, obviously, because the run on those guys probably isn't going to start until a little bit later. And there's more guys in that kind of late day 2, early day 3 range there. It's kind of a group I'd stick there. But yeah, corner, receiver, and tight end are probably the three that I'd point to as being the thinnest in this.
Appreciate it, Jeremy. Thanks for the super chats. Again, you guys can continue to send those in. Those skip the queue here on the program. Let's go to the phone lines. Up first, Hepster.
Hey, guys. Hey, Drew. I'm curious. I know we're not talking quarterback today, so I'm going to lay off that subject. But I'm curious about if you were the GM for the Jets, knowing the situation, how would you do like the first two rounds of the draft?
That's a great question. And I know, like you said, we aren't talking QBs, but that's got to be, if you're talking, what the Jets are doing in this round, that's the big question. Also, my ring light just died. I apologize for the lighting change right there.
No, that's right.
I'm never pro kicking the can down the road on quarterbacks. I think that's a dangerous game. But when you're in the Jets position with 3 first-round picks next year, and again, I don't like speculating this much on the quarterback class outside of this, but I think Julian Sayin out of Ohio State's kind of shaping up to be better than any of the guys in the 2026 class right now. Like I said, it fully depends on how the Jets feel about these guys. But if it were me, as of right now, I probably take Ty Simpson at wherever they land early on as your quarterback of the future.
I like that.
And then I think you probably go either receiver or corner. Again, it depends on how the board falls later in the round. I think you obviously have to replace Sauce. You got to get that production back in place. You can't just field that level of secondary. But I also think you've got to do, the opposite of what Tennessee has done and support your rookie quarterback with a supporting cast. And you've got to get weapons around him to make that transition easier. Especially for a guy like, I like Ty Simpson. I think he's worthy of top 10. He's a top 10 grade for me. I think he's worth a first overall pick in this draft class. But he's not like a world beater, quarterback prospect where he's not a bona fide number 1 overall pick, no matter what. Like, he's got his flaws. So I think I think I would solve quarterback this year, and do what you can to support him with weapons around him later in the class.
Thanks, guys.
Okay,
yep,
there you go. There's the Hepster joining us here on the program. Yes, the Jets have currently 4 picks in the top 45 right now. Shout out to the Dallas Cowboys and obviously the Indianapolis Colts. So 2 firsts, 2 seconds currently on the bingo card. No 3rd-round pick. Thank you, Hassan Reddick, in that trade. All right,
also,
let's go.
Jerry Jones getting the better of the 2027 first-round picks, giving away to the Jets the better of the 2027 picks next year is absurd. I mean, that's highway robbery from the Jets.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine what Jerry Jones was thinking with that.
Right. So it's interesting. So apparently this is how the negotiation went. Quick detour here, that at first the offer from the Cowboys was, I believe it was or what they were negotiating was like a first in 2026. And then it was a second in 2026, but like a 3rd or 4th the following year. And they flipped all this stuff around, kept negotiating back and forth, and switched the pick to 2027. And then they argued for the best version of it. And then it was misreported at first. At first, they just said, hey, the Jets got this pick locked in for 2026. 2027. No, wait, it's the other pick. No, wait, it's the best of the two. And I went, oh my God, terrific. And who knows what that gap's going to be? Because you never know if someone blows out their ACL and then it all of a sudden completely swings in the other direction,
Exactly. But again, if I was a Jets fan like that, the direction shown from the Jets front office right now to go and get 2027 picks is incredible future scouting. It's incredible management. I mean, the Jets have shown a clear understanding for where they are right now and what the future is going to look like as far as draft classes go. And I would feel really, really confident in my management if I was a Jets fan with them going after 2027 picks, because that class is going to be very 2024-esque, where you've just got generational prospect after generational prospect after generational prospect. And if you don't solve that receiver 2 spot this year, you've got probably 3 or 4 guys that would be bona fide top 10 picks right now if they came out. So that class is going to be really, really good.
All right, let's go back to the phone lines. EZ's up next. What's up, EZ?
Okay, so you mentioned this 6'3" wide receiver who can contort and catch the ball. I mean, is he like one of those guys that's like sure-handed, really sure-handed?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen
drop issues. I'm just saying, I have drop issues.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have the drop rates from stats in front of me, but just from what I've watched on film, I have seen no inklings of any drop issues or issues with physicality at the catch point from Carnell Tate. I mean, he's got vice grips for hands as far as I've seen.
So he's just a bigger, taller Garrett Wilson.
I mean, that seems to be the kind of frame of receiver that Ohio State likes. They like to pump out those guys. So I mean, I wasn't quite as up to speed on scouting as I am when Garrett Wilson was coming out, so I don't want to make that comp assuredly, because I didn't watch a lot of Garrett Wilson coming out of Ohio State. But that's kind of
I'm saying based on Garrett Wilson now, though.
I mean, I would say they're at least a little bit similar stylistically. I'm not sure Tate's quite the level of athlete that Wilson is, but they're similar for sure.
Well, I was trying to figure out why does the next receiver have to be the Robin to Batman? Why can't we get a guy who's so good that Wilson is actually the Robin? I want 2 number ones. What the fuck? I mean, we got 4 picks.
Yeah, sure.
2 firsts and 2 seconds.
Yeah.
I mean, let's go for it, man. Because
give me Batman, give me Spider-Man, give me Incredible Hulk.
Give me Batman and Superman. I don't want Batman and Robin. I want Batman and Superman. Because the next quarterback that we have coming out, he may not be the perfect guy. We need guys that can go up. I mean, remember that play 2 years ago with Zach Wilson? We threw that ball in the end zone, the left side of the end zone, and Wilson made this insane catch.
The bobbling catch. Yeah, Jets Bills Monday Night Football week 1.
This is the type of receivers we need on this team. I'm more about getting a guy who's absolutely the most sure-handed guy, a guy who you throw it to him on 3rd and 4 in coverage, and he makes that catch. I mean, he just makes it. It's like Wayne Corbett.
Okay.
How many times did Wayne drop a ball?
Could it be Aquaman? Easy. Jared B's asking if it could be Aquaman. Is that all right?
It kind of feels like A.D. Mitchell's Aquaman to me.
I'm not dealing with stupidity like that. Okay. Because as it turns out, Aquaman was kind of a dweeb in the cartoons, but when he was in the motion pictures, he was a kind of a badass.
Yeah, Jason Momoa. Momoa. Good Lord.
You're gonna, is he trying to belittle Jason Momoa? I don't think Jason Momoa. I'd like him to say it to Jason Momoa's face.
I'd have to get on a stool to say it to a very big stool to say it to Jason Momoa.
You'd have to get on an extension ladder.
I've never seen one of those, but that would probably help. But EC, thanks for the call, buddy. And could he be the next Garrett Wilson? I mean, Garrett Wilson's so bendy, that basketball background so unique. He's an interesting player. Hey, again, I don't discriminate. Sure, I mean the common saying is a Batman or a Robin to a Batman. Say, a sidekick, a legitimate sidekick that can draw attention away offensively. But sure, shit, yeah. If you say sorry, Paul, we don't have a Robin, but we have another Batman, then all right, sign me up. But that sounds great to me as far as I'm concerned. So phenomenal. That'd be great. We have 300 people in the room, and I see 100 of those 300 are on YouTube, but only 40 likes. What the hell? Why are you guys holding out on likes? Like the gosh darn video, man. That's a free way to contribute. Let's go to another one of our draft guys here. Ricky New York Live, baby.
Hey, what's happening, guys?
Yeah, what's going on?
Can you hear me okay?
Loud and clear, over.
Okay. Different setup today, so hopefully no problems.
Okay.
Drew, since we have so many picks, I've been doing mocks constantly because I'm looking forward to having these picks.
Absolutely.
So I'm gonna get, and I usually, if the guys are there, I usually end up taking the same guys with my picks, which would be Mendoza 1. But I'm going to give you my other first 4 picks that I've been making, which would be, what our picks would be in 3 in the top 44 or 4 in the top 44.
Yeah.
But with picks 2, 3, and 4, I've been taking Sonny Styles, Denzel Boston, and Kamari Ramsey. Just kind of based on our needs. And I want to hear your opinion on those guys. And then I'm going to throw a name, too, for a later round pick that I love this guy. He went off again last night, Deuce Robinson. I'm going to double dip at receiver if I'm the Jets. But go ahead.
Yeah, so Sonny Styles, starting off with that, I'll just go top down. I love that. I'm not sure that he quite lasts to where the Jets. Where's their second pick? It's like
it's Colts, they have the
right?
Cowboys.
Colts
the other first
26.
Yeah, that's going to be currently it's like 31 or something. So.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm not sure that they're going to be. I mean, I guess barring a trade back, I don't know if where are you picking Styles? He had that second first round pick. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
I'm not sure he quite lasts to that point, honestly, because I think he's just kind of another guy with that meteoric rise. Sonny Styles is the best linebacker prospect we've seen in a long time. Like, Sonny Styles is unbelievably good. That guy is a rocket all over. And he, like, you watch him and you think he's one of these new, like, 220-pound linebackers because he's so fast and so athletic and so rangy. I mean, he covers the entire field, but he's not. He's weighing at like a little bit over 250 right now. Just stonewalls people in the run. Got like shotgun stopping power in his hands. Great in coverage. Like, there's no spot in Sonny Styles' game that I'm worried about. He's going to be a top linebacker in the NFL from almost day one. Like, that guy probably going to finish the top 10 guy on my board, even with linebacker, being positionally weaker, or like positional value wise. That's another thing I didn't mention when we were talking about the strengths of this draft class. This is a generational linebacker class. Like, these inside linebackers are another less value position. There's so many dudes in the linebacker class this year. Like, it's crazy. But Sonny Styles is definitely my linebacker 1 right now. Not sure he lasts that long, but if he does, that's a dream. He's outside.
Well, are you counting Arvell Reese as a linebacker?
I'm not. I'm counting him as an edge. I think it's that good outside of Arvell.
Yeah, because I was about to say I don't know, man. Like, but
then you said Denzel Boston was in there too. In the second round, I like Denzel Boston more than the first round tackles he's getting. I think I'm a little bit more afraid of that kind of archetype of receivers. Like, we just saw Keon Coleman be a healthy scratch. And I think if I had to comp a guy, he's probably around there right now, around that Keon Coleman build out, where I think he's got a long way to go as a separator, really rounds his breaks. Not a guy that I love as a route runner. Incredibly big body, very strong hands. Like, he's a ball winner. He's going to go up and get, like what we were talking about with the first caller, just want somebody who can go up and get it as a reliable target at the catch point. That's Denzel Boston. Like, he's going to go up and be a boxer at the catch point. Nobody's going to be more physical than him. But I just worry that he's not athletic enough to play on the outside, on the boundary. Might work out more as a big slot. I'm not sure he handles, the press man on the outside all that well for a guy of his size. But again, in the second round, I'm okay taking a shot on a big slot like that. Just not in the first round talks like he's getting right now. But I assume that's in the second round that we're talking about taking him right now. And I'm okay with that pick there. And refresh my memory on the other picks. I know you said Kamari Ramsey. Is there one I'm forgetting?
Yep. Yeah, Kamari Ramsey.
Yeah, Kamari Ramsey, another guy that I like. I think I have him more in the third round conversation right now, but I really like his tape. I think he's kind of your prototypical free safety. You like more that Xavier Watts, like, who's been really good for Atlanta so far this year. Was in last year's draft class we talked a lot about for the Jets. But really, there's that rangy, coverage, prototypical free safety. Not a guy that's going to be super physical in the box for you, come down and help a lot and run support, but just covers. He's that safety net in the back end, very, very strong in coverage, great in zone, can come and play man in the slot when you need him to. Very athletic. I like Kamari Ramsey a lot.
Right on. And the only other one was, I said, like, in one of the later rounds, I would love Deuce Robinson as another receiver.
Yeah, I've heard the name. I haven't gotten around to his tape yet, so I can't speak super definitively on him. But
yeah, I don't know if you saw it. There was played like a week ago or so whenever they played Wake Forest, and the corner was like mugging him, like practically pushing him out of bounds, and he just reached around him. It almost looked like he was hugging him and one-handed the ball behind the corner's back. I mean, it was insane catch, and he's 6'6", and he's had so many one-handed catches. Like the very first play of the game last night was a 50-yard touchdown to him. Like he's just been having a ridiculous year, and people are talking like end of the fourth, beginning of the fifth round for him. I'm like, shoot, I would take him all day in that spot, because kind of like the guys with the 4.3 speed, like you can't teach somebody to be 6'6". They just are. And he might be kind of similar to Boston, and that maybe the separation isn't quite as good as some other guys. But dude, you put a 6'6" receiver like that on a 5'11" corner, 6'6" is going to win every single time.
Yeah, that's probably true. Ricky, appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. And again, Ricky New York Live is his YouTube channel, baby, for all things draft and Jets, for that matter. Hey, he's already on the mock drafts. I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna break the mock draft machine with how many times I'm gonna run that thing.
Oh yeah,
that is for dang sure. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. Up next is Mr. Famous Fulton. Yes, Mr. Famous Fulton.
Morning, Paul. Good morning, Mr. Drew.
How you doing?
Doing all right. How about yourself?
Pretty good.
So, Paul, I am getting ready for that big show this week.
Okay. All right.
Yep. So, yeah, it's going to be a busy week for me, and I have to be done at like 10 p.m. on every Monday and Wednesday.
Whoa.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Yep, I sure do.
Do you want to give us a slice of what you've been working on?
Sure. Do you mind if I go ahead, Drew?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
All right. Yes, ma'am. Anything wrong? Oh, it's Don Lockwood. How are you, Mr. Lockwood? Out for a stroll? Anything I could do for you? And you, young lady? You sure? Lucky lady. Good night, Mr. Lockwood.
Wow. That is absolutely terrific, Mr. Famous Fulton. There's only one thing to do, and it's this. Yes. Yeah. Of course.
So, Drew, what'd you think about that?
Thought it was great.
Yeah.
I'm actually in Singing in the Rain, Drew. I forgot to mention that.
Oh, do you want to give us some of that too, Mr. Fulton?
Sure. Drew,
Okay.
You want to sing it? Do you know how to sing it, Drew?
I'm just here for the draft talk. I'm not sure I'm really qualified for that. I'll let you take that one over.
All right, there you go, pal. Let it rip. Yeah.
I'm singing in the rain, just singing in the rain. What a glorious feeling, I'm happy again. I'm laughing at clouds so dark up above. The sun's in my heart, and I'm ready for love. Let the stormy cloud chase everyone from the place. Come on with the rain, I'm gonna smile my face. I'll walk down the lane with a happy refrain, just singing, just singing, just singing in the rain.
Oh, mamacita. I thought Drew Beatty was the best talent I was going to see today. Guess I was wrong. Whoa, Mr. Famous Fulton. That was spectacular. Thank you for gracing us with your pipes.
Yeah, thank you, Paul. And thank you, Mr. Drew.
Thank you. God bless Mr. Famous Fulton, and good luck this week with all that. Wow, this show's giving us a little bit of everything here, Drew Beatty. That is for dang sure. Shout out to, again, the 300 people in the room. Drew, you're about to be dipping out for some Tennessee Titans football. Oh, yeah, Titans-Texans. Old Davis Mills out there. You rooting for a win, Drew Beatty?
Absolutely not. Lose out.
No?
Number one overall pick. That's where we're at.
So tell me this. Because there's several Jets tanking people in our audience. What are you tanking for? Who is going to be the number one overall pick?
We're going to get a ransom from whoever wants these quarterbacks. Hopefully, y'all.
what the hell, man? I thought
Sorry.
we were friends.
Listen,
I
I can be a Jets fan all I want. At the end of the day, I need Joel's draft picks here in Tennessee. So I love you guys. I hate it for you. I hope you guys get the first overall pick for your sake. But over here in Tennessee, we need those draft picks. So
all right. So answer me this, okay? Let's say that works out, right? The Titans currently, obviously, they're the favorites. The odds on they're the only team with one win, and how it all sets up. So they are likely to get it. Would a team? Is there a quarterback in this class that is worthy enough to merit the, hey, you know what, we're going to get aggressive or we're going to trade with Tennessee? Does that just happen every year? Like, what's sort of the thought process with the haul that Tennessee Titans fans are obviously dreaming of?
I think, again, it really depends on how these teams like the Browns, Jets, Raiders, these quarterback needy teams, and the Dolphins are in that conversation now. These quarterback needy teams in the top 5 to 7 really feel about these guys if they feel strongly enough to do that. I think with Dante Moore shaping up to not come out, it makes these obviously the supply limits a little bit. The demand is still just as high, so the trade market is increased a little bit by only being 2. But hell, I don't foresee this happening. But if Ty Simpson for whatever reason decides to stay because he has another year of eligibility, he can stay, and then it ends up only Fernando Mendoza. That really shoots the price up because you only have one guy in that range. But I think with how many quarterback needy teams are in the market in that top 5-ish area, I think that it's probably more than likely that somebody's willing to send, at least 2 first-round picks to come up and grab a quarterback with the competitive market right now.
I bet that's what you guys are hoping for, baby.
That's the plan. Yeah.
All right, there you go. Let's get one more call in. Let's go to our guy Frankie to finish us off. Frankie.
Hey guys. Hey Drew.
Hey, how you doing?
Question for you. All right, let's assume that Mendoza or Simpson don't drop to us, and we're not going to get a quarterback. Would you solidify our offensive line? Obviously we've had some issues at center with Myers, Paul, and would you go that direction? And if so, who would your top offensive lineman be?
Right now, I would probably say my top offensive lineman is Blake Miller on my board, the tackle out of Clemson. I think I know most of the issues have been on the interior for y'all, on the offensive line right now, and I just don't feel comfortable going interior offensive line that high, especially. I know Elijah Berry Tucker's had the issues, a lot of injury issues, but I think they've mostly been just freak, unlucky injuries. There's nothing really chronic going on with him. When you have a guard that talented, I would do everything I can to keep him in-house now and set up for whoever quarterback you got going in there. I'd probably use the capital right now to just buy weapons for your young quarterback. I think you guys, you took the bitter medicine last year where you took your not flashy offensive tackle pick, for the past 2 years, getting Olu Fashanu and then Armand Mimbu. But now you're seeing the dividends that pay off, right? All these other teams are bringing in, like the Titans, bringing in Cam Ward to situations where you're putting him behind bad offensive lines and bad situations. Versus whoever comes up with the Jets, the Jets have gone through the good process. They built out a bookend tackle duo for the next 10 years, and they both look absolutely outstanding right now. I think right now I'd give Rookie of the Year to Armand Mimbo, probably. He's been unreal. But yeah, I think the interior offensive line is good enough, and it's deep enough where you can get a guy in the later rounds, and the positional value just isn't really there. I'd probably go weapons. I think you build up a good enough between, Joe Tittman and, like I said, the tackle duo. And if you can bring Elijah Berry Tucker back, I think you're set up enough to where you can find a Band-Aid in free agency and just spend your valuable draft capital on weapons for this guy.
So put it more towards a wide receiver, possibly defensive tackles or defensive line in general then, right?
Right. That's probably where I'd go. More of those premium positions where you need guys to fill in there.
Okay. Thanks. Love listening to you guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Appreciate the call, Frankie. And the last one is this. So speaking of all that interior offensive line stuff, so the Colts taking Quentin Nelson with a top 6 overall pick was a stupid selection.
That's where it always goes. Because you can use the Titans right now too, where we took took Peter Skoronski at 7.
Sure.
Or no, it was 11, I guess, that year.
11. Right,
So you're right outside the top 10. It's a tough conversation, right? Because I did a piece on him for PaulKowalski.com this past week. I think he's an All-Pro right now. I think he should be one of the first team All-Pro guards in the NFL right now.
Who's that?
You look back.
Skoronski?
Yes, Skoronski. Sorry.
Oh, nice. Okay.
But you look back, you could have had JSN right there. You could have an All-Pro receiver instead, and that helps Cam Ward a lot more. So it's always the what-if conversation. We're yes, an All-Pro guard is always a great thing, but there's always the what-ifs that you could have had an All-Pro at a premium position there. And I just think there are so many kind of, again, like running backs where there's just so many in safeties where these guys, you hate to devalue them in this way, but there's so much value in later rounds where you can find starters at guard in the 4th, 5th, 6th round. Like Christian Mahogany in Detroit is a 6th round pick. He's turned into a a plus starter. So it's hard to ever justify in that range to me when there's just that much value in the later rounds, and that, especially in free agency too. Like you don't want to rely on that, but there's just always a lot of good guard talent in free agency, or I don't want to say always, more often than not. So I just generally lean not, unless it's kind of like your only hope, like it is for some of these contenders.
Well, fair enough. Drew, I appreciate you, getting near the pool and dipping a few toes in. Ooh, the water's nice. Ooh, the water's nice over here. Maybe after a little bit more time, you'll do a cannonball and dive into the deep end with us here. But we've appreciated the dabbling. The dabbling has been really nice to sort of explore some of those. So appreciate you joining us on the program, man.
Yep. Thank you for having me on. Always a blast.
All right. Tennessee Titans win, baby. Let's get it.
I hope not.
There we go. Drew, you're the best. Thanks, brother.
See you. Thanks.
There he is, Drew Beatty, Iron City Film on social media. I want to thank everyone for joining us. We're going to wrap up the show here. No more content today. Enjoy some football, everyone out there in the universe, and we will see you. I'll be back on tomorrow morning for a Boy Green Daily as we start to turn the page and look forward, of course, to the Baltimore Ravens at Baltimore, and, of course, the saving of my beautiful beard, which we'll see if that all can come to fruition. Thank you, everybody, for all the wonderful draft questions. That was awesome. And, one more. Super chat squeezing in here at the buzzer. I'll get to this from EZ. Every super chat gets a shout out for my beautiful daughter, Zariah Luna, who I can't wait to see soon.
Wow.
Yes, there's been JFM rumors. We have not done a full show on it, but long story short, ESPN reported based on their sourcing that it's likely that JFM will reach unrestricted free agency. He's set to be a free agent this year. And basically, the Broncos won't keep it because of all the money they're paying everybody else, and thus he would be a free agent. So a reunion would be possible with the Jets. Harrison Glazer, a Jets content creator out there in the universe, tweeted that and said, "Hey, Jet fans, would you be interested?" Jermaine Johnson responds to that tweet with eyes emojis. And then JFM responds to Jermaine saying, "I love you, brother." So some of us are like, oh, maybe, possibly. I mean, obviously we could use help at defensive end and defensive tackle, AZ. So that could certainly make a lot of sense. How would that affect the Jets' 2026 draft plans? To be candid, I don't think it would. And no offense to JFM, he is, 28? Let me see. Let me pull that up real quick on age for old John Franklin Myers. He is 29. So, okay, he will turn 30 at the start of the 2026 season. At the end of September is when he turns 30. So he's already 29, so 30. So I don't think signing a 29, almost soon to be 30-year-old should drastically affect your plans. I think if you're going to sign JFM, that's great because you could use help at defensive end and defensive tackle, but you should also draft at defensive end and defensive tackle. So it's a good question, EZ, and I love it, and I hope so. I like JFM a lot, so there'd be nothing more I would appreciate than that. By the way, EZ, you're up to 10 raffle tickets so far this month, so appreciate it. Thank you for squeezing that super chat in at the buzzer. I would love JFM to return to the NYJ. That would be marvelous. All right, folks, enjoy all your football today. I'm going out to the diner by myself. That's going to be weird, but I'll try to power through. God bless everybody. Take care, and we'll see you soon.